Hello everybody, welcome to Bossman Moss TV, and today we are live in Scunthorpe 2020 in Spirit buses. We're currently driving a Streetlight 11.5 metre Cummins engine on Route 35 in Scunthorpe. I'm currently running 2 minutes late, but we'll soon get over that. So Spirit buses still continuing. As you saw from last stream, I was in a same company. I was in a street decker in the last stream, if you remember. I was in the street decker classic Gemini body in the poppy livery. This time we're in one of our new street lights, Cummins engine, fully refurbished into the black seats, which will be could be getting changed in the near future. Doing the service 35 today. I'm going to do a couple of runs in Scunthorpe in the bus company, and then see what comes after that. Got fuel warning on here, but we've got fuel. Let's just add blue that we're low on. Now, in real life, the service 35 was taken over. It was run by Hornsby Travel and was taken over by Stagecoach. Stagecoach won the tender from Hornsby in Scunthorpe in real life. I believe in real life that in Scunthorpe they're using a Dennis Dart on this, or a Volvo Viking, because it also has school run on it as well. So I think during the week it has the Decker indoor lights on. I don't like the new update. The update for the street lights are really good, but the update they've done recently has knackered a few things up. Like that, for example, is floating. On the HEV street light, the side panel here, you can see right through it. But apart from that, the updates they've done have been quite good so far. Oh, see if she wants to get on. I doubt it. Let's put it in here. I don't think she'll want to get on with everything. This is the long wheelbase, 7.5 meters. Why is she walking in the air, not on the ground? Okay. Oh, yep, she does want to go. There we go. There you go, love. Thank you very much. So yes, 11.5 meters. It's a Cummins engine street light. In our corporate livery Spirit buses, they're red, yellow, and white. Yeah, let's keep going. If anybody is looking to join a bus company, Spirit Buses, we are currently still hiring for drivers. We're also expanding a little bit. We've now got Berlin BRT in the company, 2 left-hand drive streetlights available for it, and we are also currently expanding into the trucks as well. Spirit Logistics. This is Scunthorpe 2020. This map. Scunthorpe 2020. You can find it on Fellow Films. You will need to have Scunthorpe 2016 installed as well from Fellow Films for it to work, I think. If we go on Fellow Films, it has all the latest UK maps on there. Scunthorpe's always been one of my favourite maps. It is a nice map. It's one of my favourites. When I first started doing Omsi, Scunthorpe 2016 was the first UK map I ever went on, and it's absolutely amazing. Moose, who did it, he did a great job doing this, and doing a great job at Gainsborough. Both brilliant maps, but this one just looks phenomenal. We don't have Bodenham yet. To be honest, I was waiting until the UK version gets released before getting the company. But I have had a few requests to get it into the company, so it is something I may get in towards the end of the month after the taxes have gone out. But it is a possibility I might get it sooner. Bodenham is a good map. I'm looking forward to the UK version that's coming out. The right-hand drive version of Bodenham. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good map when it gets released. Another map that I'm looking forward to getting released is Yorkshire. Yorkshire Counties 3. That's going to be a good one. What I've seen Siler do with that map, it looks absolutely amazing. But I think if I have to say for the top UK maps at the moment on Omsi, I'd say is Scunthorpe 2020, West Countries 3, and Gainsborough. I'd say they're the top best maps for Omsi at the moment. Smarden's good if you like tight roads and country roads and that. But it's not as good as the others. It depends on your PC, because it takes up a lot of RAM. As long as you've got at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, you should be alright. That's the minimum requirement for it to be able to run. If you have anything less than 16 gigabytes, then you will find problems with running it. But it depends on what your PC and internet connections basically like. But personally, I've not had any performance issues with BCS. It doesn't make much difference to the way Omsi runs. It all depends on your PC really, and the kind of maps that you go on, because some maps can affect it more than others. But overall, BCS doesn't really it doesn't really affect it that much at all, to be honest. It just, like I say, just depends on your PC, on the kind of PC and what kind of connection you've got and whatnot. But BCS is worth getting 100% because it's really nice. It's really good. You interact with other people and it's really good fun. Really good fun. And running the bus company, you got to use your brains with that, which for me is hard work. But it is definitely worth the money. My old PC, I used to struggle with BCS. It used to take me half an hour to be able to load up into the game, into Omsi. But that was because I was at the 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is the low requirement. So it takes longer. But if you use a 16 gigabyte RAM PC, you'll be fine. You'll fly through it. No problem. I do recommend getting it. I think you really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. There's a lot more German companies than there is UK companies on there, though. Like, I know there's some companies that are set up by English people, but there's not that many to do UK maps. There's more European maps than there is. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Yeah, you find on BCS a lot more companies have more European maps than UK stuff. So there's not many UK orientated companies left on BCS because the UK community of new updates and bring new things out is slow compared to the German side. There's always new things every month for the European side, whereas the UK side, the only thing new every month we get is repaints. Things are very slow, but when they do come out, it is worth it for the UK side. This route I'm doing on the Scunthorpe 35 is one of my favourite routes. Get you out of Scunthorpe a little bit, but also mainly because you get a nice long layover and you get back to the bus station. So it's plenty of time to get up and have a coffee and whatnot. Right, is everyone off? Change the destination, wait for the next one. I was reluctant in buying these streetlights for the company because I like my ADLs, my Dennis Darts, my Dennis Tridents, my Varo 200s. So I was very reluctant into buying these. I've been hesitant with it, but we'll get one for the company, see how it goes. Give it a trial. See how the performance is with them, see how they handle. I mean, Studio Polygon's done an absolutely fantastic job with the streetlights, without a doubt. Fantastic job of them. I do wish there was more UK buses though, but I do believe there's some getting made. Like we've got the Renown coming out soon. The Gemini 1s are coming out, all made by Studio Polygon. Mass Studios, I believe they're doing the Veiling, which will have a mixture of the Volvo B8s, B7s, Eclipses, Pulsars, as well as I believe they're doing the Gemini 2s as well, which will probably be the B7s and B9s. I'm hoping to do the VDL Gemini 2s because I like them. Grew up with them at Arriva. I believe there's somebody, I can't remember his name, he's making the Optra Solos. V3D was making them, then he changed his mind and someone else started making the Optra Solos on further films. So I'm hoping they get finished soon and get released because I'm looking forward to the Solos. They'll be fun to have, especially on routes like this around Scunthorpe. I believe there's someone making the wrong pedal. Plaques and presents are getting made as well. Dennis Trident version. I think they're doing the Volvo B7 version as well. The only version we haven't got with the LX400 is the DAF version, which would have been cool to have. It also would have been cool to have the Volvo B7 LX400 London variant as well as the regional variant. I know we've got the regional variant now, but it would have been cool to have the London variant as well, especially now that London's released. It was very disappointing when London got released. It was all that hype built up to it after 5 years away, and it gets released, and what a mess it's in. It's a good map, but needs a lot of work and needs a lot of updates to it. The update was meant to come out in February and we're still waiting. We'll see what comes of that. There you go. There you go. To set up a bus company on BCS, you need to do a fair bit of driving. You need to have at least 100 grand, and you also need 100 grand to set up the company, but also make sure you've got an extra 100 grand so you can buy the buses as well. So otherwise, if you just pay 100 grand to set up the company and have no money left, you're going to find it very hard to buy the buses or get them on finance, as well as do everything else. So you also make sure you got all your training done, your staff training, your finance training, your maintenance training, because otherwise you won't be able to pay your bills, you won't be able to do your taxes, you won't be able to fix the buses or nothing, and it'll leave you in a very bad situation. So getting up to the position where you're able to run a bus company on BCS, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of driving to get all up there. And I think you need to be at least above rank 3 or 4, something like that. But don't expect the company to start like booming straight away and getting drivers left, right and centre. It doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen, unfortunately. Things are very slow, especially the UK side. But you do start getting drivers eventually. You just got to take it in your stride, take it as it comes, and do what you can as an owner to prevent the company from going bust until you start getting the drivers in that are making the extra money that the company needs to keep functioning at the point where you don't need to do as much work. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Twitch must have went down a little bit. We're back up. Yeah, it's just Twitch playing around. Sorry about that. Twitch keeps going on and off. But yeah, so that's the only problem with it. If being an awesome man's like will come over and they say, "Oh, I was going to drive for your company, but I'm leaving because you haven't got a Dennis Trident or you haven't got the open top B5s or things like that." And if you give in to the demands of buying buses left, right, and centre, you have to take the risk of putting yourself into debt, but also you're also taking a big risk because then and they could possibly drive it at once and then you'll never see them again. Or they'll be coming in driving and then they'll say, "Oh, well, I was going to take that bus out. Why is such and such taking it? I can't do nothing now." And then they're pushing an awkward situation to buy more, whether the company can afford it or not. So you got to make sure you keep the company to be in the way you want it in your hands, not in their hands. Otherwise, you'll find to be putting the company and yourself in pretty tight situations. And the other thing is with having a bus company, you need to be on all the time, every day, to make money. If you're the only person in for the first couple of weeks, you need to be in every single day to be driving. Because if you're not in the company every single day making money, then you take the risk of, come the end of the month, your bus company will go bust because you don't have enough to pay the taxes, which you have to do every single month. And your taxes go off It can be anything from how much your revenue is and expenses are. It's best to have your expenses higher than the revenue on your tax bill, because then you pay less in tax. But it's still quite a demanding thing. Unlike ETS, the trucks accept the company, and you don't need to drive for weeks and months on end, and your company will still be there. Same with BCS and Bus Simulator and Fernbus and Tourist Bus. But with Omsi, if you have a bus company, you need to be on at least an hour every day for your company to make money. Otherwise, if it's not making money, you'll just lose it. And if you don't pay your tax and do the taxes wrong, you can get done for tax evasion, which then that could cause your company to go bust as well. So it's a very demanding thing to do, but it is fun. It is fun. The challenge I enjoy the most with the bus company is when you have a situation where you got drivers but not enough buses, and you have to juggle things around and change things for people and things like that. Like you see on I don't know if you saw the TV series on the Yorkshire buses, where you show that situation where they're on shortage of buses and that. I like it when the bus company goes through that sort of phase, because it gives you a good brain teasing workout and something to do more into the company. So I like it when you go through those situations. Not to the point where it could cause us to close down, but to the point where it's like, well, right, time to get this brain teaser done. I'm gonna get it done. Work it all out, juggle things around a bit. But also on BCS now, you have the control centre as well. I've never done yet, but I am looking forward to doing some control centre events, which I'll probably live stream that as well, because it's something that's new to me. Really get a new set of pedals. Brake keeps locking on. I've had this steering wheel now for about 4 or 5 years, so it's worn out. I've got the Logitech G29. Bear with. Yeah, London's a good map. And it still needs a bit of work doing to it. It needs finishing a little bit. You know, it's still a bit. What's the word I'm looking for? It feels unfinished, London. Like it's very buggy, very laggy. It's a good map, but also at the same time it's a bit of a letdown as well, considering how long we've waited for it. And then it comes out all buggy and, you know, almost undrivable. I like London, but I was very disappointed with it. Very disappointed. See, we have London Spirit buses, but nobody's driven on it. So come the end of the month, I don't know if I want to renew the map, keep the services we've got for London, or let it expire. I can't decide because there's not been enough people driving on it. Yeah, it causes problems at the same place all the time. And I did it in Terrier Group. I was doing the N2s at time 2-3 in the morning, and you get Crystal Palace, and you have to cancel the timetable in BCS and finish it by hand. It's we have we call it Riff Raff, but it's called a craft map. I think it's Criff Craft, something like that. We have 2 European maps, Berlin BRT, we have Criff Craft, whatever it's called. I am looking to get some more at the end of the month once we've done the tax bill. I don't know which ones we're going to get though. I think we're going to get the Wuppertal map. I like that. And Hamburg. There's another one we're looking at getting. Craft? Is it Craft? Criff Craft? Yeah, Alzheimer's version 4. That's a good map. It's something that we could possibly look into getting. It's as long as the maps make the profit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that one. That's the map. I like that map. I like the SEV service on there. 72 minutes long. I also like the what route is it? Service 71, 72 that into work on the little village. I like that map's good. Well, as long as like the maps make the profit, because like the maps to get in the bus companies can cost anywhere between like $5,000 to 20 grand, 30 grand, depending on how popular the map is. So as long as the maps make the profit and cover the price as well as a bit of profit in them, and I'm happy to get them. Same with the buses. Like some of the buses cost a fortune. Like for the MMC and Valve 400s, it's 22,000 per decker. So like as long as we make enough for a profit out of them, then I'm happy to get them in. But I don't want to get anything that's not going to be profitable towards the company, if you know what I mean. But how long should we do out? 46. I've got a good 13 minutes yet. What do we next? No, you can just carry on. What you do is in BCS, when you finish the route, you click on the menu button, terminate tour, and then automatically carry on from. You just click on next shift and then carry on driving. You don't need to close BCS. You stay in it and just carries on from where you are. You just finish your tour. The money goes to the company. Start your next tour, and off you go. I learned that the hard way. I used to think when I first did BCS, you had to close it, get the next route, and then do it. But then I found out you go on when you press on menu terminate tour, you click on next shift, and then there's the same duty you're doing to do the return journeys back and forth, and you can do it for as long as you possibly can until either the timetable runs out, or if the vehicle needs to be taken off the road for like maintenance or something, then you won't be able to continue. Why is my bus gone off? There we go.
Fire system pressure okay.
Let's check my texts. I used to like Rural Quebec. That was one of my favourite German maps. I used to do that consistently. It was always be Scunthorpe 2016 and Rural Quebec were my two main favourite maps. But I found recently that Rural Quebec, it's got very laggy and it's been neglected, and they haven't I don't think they've updated it as well as they should have. And I find it at certain places it's not as playable as it used to be anymore, not as drivable, which is a disappointment because I used to absolutely love Rural Quebec, because Rural Quebec had over 100 bus routes, you know. Yeah, so providing some routes you can, some maps you can't. As long as it's on the timetable, then yes. There's Unknown Gaming, he's one of our drivers. Yes, as long as it's on the timetable, then yeah. At Scunthorpe, there's a lot of services here. 2 seconds. Yeah, there's a lot of services on Scunthorpe where you can start. Well, on UK maps, some UK maps you can start from the depot and run out service and go to the bus station. Some maps you can't. Scunthorpe 2020 and 2016, you can start as long as you start at you have to be on the timetable starts. Like say, for example, say the Route 35 starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. As long as it's got a depot run on the timetable itself, on the duty you're going to do, then yeah, you can do them in BCS. If not, you can just do it yourself, but you give yourself enough time to start. But a lot of the time you can find you're able to do, like say, the bus drive it out of service from the depot to the bus station, start your route and off you go, providing that's available to choose. If not, you can always just load in, say 10 minutes earlier than you need to give yourself enough time to drive dead from the depot. Smarden, you can't do it on that. You can't do that on that map in BCS. The only way you can do drive out of service to and from the depots is if you load in, say 20 minutes before the timetable is due to start, and spawn in at the depot and then drive out of service to and from. Otherwise, if you don't give yourself enough time, you end up being late. But majority of the maps you can. Gainsborough you can do it. Scunthorpe you can do it. And Yorkshire 2.0 you can do it on all 3 maps. Dead runs from the depot to your starting point. You just can't do it on Smarden. And I think Cotterell as well. Yeah, Cotterell and West Country's at 3. You can't do it on there unless you do it manually. I.e., you finish your service, cancel the timetable, drive dead to the depot, and then finish your tour and go back to the BCS. So it all depends on the map, but most maps you pretty much can. Right, okay, most of the stagecoach routes on Scunthorpe 2020 and 2016 you can providing you do it at the timetable starts. And you can do depot runs out of service, in a service. You know, at the end of the timetable, at the beginning of the timetable. What I sometimes tend to do when I go on during the day, I load in half an hour earlier, and to suit and I'm just like my smoke. Yeah, so I load. Yeah, that's correct, because like, I'll give you an example. Like Yorkshire 2.0, you can service 9, 17, 20. You can start them from the depot and do the run from the depot to the starting point of service 4, service 9, 20, and etc. Where on some maps you just can't. You'd have to do it manually rather than doing it through the bus company itself. Loading early, like sometimes if I come on, say, Scunthorpe during the day, like say midday, I'll load in half an hour early at the depot, drive to my starting point, and then replace the bus that I'm taking over. If you see what I mean? So like I'll go to the starting point, say drive to the bus station out of service from the depot, select my timetable, replace the bus that was on it, and then off I go. But most of the time, most maps you can. It's just a handful where you can't do it on them. But Yorkshire, you can do it on every route. I think the only route you can't do it on in Yorkshire is the university services. Scunthorpe, you can do it on pretty much almost every route. I think the only route you can't do it on is the 35s. Yeah, Maniac 3, yeah. It's a good map, that. I like that. Maniac 3 was good. There was some of the routes on there I struggled with, because I found when you terminated in BCS, it didn't tick over the timetable to do the next journey. So sometimes on BCS, it'd be a pain. It's good, Maniac 3. I don't know if the updated version's on BCS yet. And if it is, I don't have a clue where you get it from. Maniac 3 was on Fellow Films. Whether the updated version's on there, I don't know. But Maniac 3 is a good map. I enjoyed that quite a lot. But it's Maniac 4's coming out soon, isn't it? That'll be something to look forward to. If it's half as good as what Maniac 3 was, then it'll be good. It'll be good. How long shall we due out? 5 minutes. The other downside with these street lights is, unlike the Master Deckers, when your engine goes in idle mode and turns itself off, you have to be logged back into the ticket machine. Street Deckers, you don't have to do that. But since they've updated it, they've fixed some good problems. But with that, and the update now floats down there rather than being inside where it should be. Yeah, that's it. The drive like wheel shifts. The same with most of these routes in BCS. The drive like wheel shifts. You get in, get your shift, and you can be out as long as possible. If you want to do advanced book tours, you have to book them 12 hours in advance. But even that, you do them like real shifts, and it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, when I do my driving on it, I try to do it how it would be if you were in a real bus company. That no more than 10 hours of driving minimum. That's what I do normally. 5 hours break, 5 hours finish. That'd be a full time. A part time it would be 8 hours, give or take. But yeah, it's realistic times. It's good. It's why I prefer Omsi or Bus Simulator, because Bus Simulator you don't get the real time shifts like you do on Omsi. Which if they had that in the Bus Simulator, it'd probably improve Bus Simulator. I find compared to this, Bus Simulator is more like a video game, where this is actually built more simulation wise. Yeah, nothing will ever beat Omsi. Nothing will ever beat Omsi. It's a shame that the creators of Omsi have split up and not done an Omsi 3, because they could have done so much more with Omsi. So they've split up and started doing Lotus Simulator, which is all trams, which is a shame. But there's a few little things that I'd like to add into Omsi, like the fact Bus Simulator you can have people with wheelchairs getting on and off your bus. I'd like to add things like that onto Omsi. You know, a wheelchair getting on your bus, or prams getting on your bus. You know, things like that. That would be good to add into Omsi. I think that's probably the only thing that's missing, is push chairs, prams and wheelchairs. They're the only things that are probably missing, I reckon. If they added that in, it'd be perfect. I mean, we have the real weather, which is excellent, you know. And passengers, it's just those two things, wheelchairs and pushchairs. I think it's the only thing we actually really need in Omsi. You know, I mean, we've got the bays, we've got the ramps and that. So I make use of it and get them in. And I think a multiplayer like I have with the trucks, you know, like ETS multiplayer, truck multiplayer. If they had a multiplayer like that, then that would be even better. But obviously everything stays in like passive mode, ghost mode, so you can't crash into each other. But it would be good having a proper multiplayer. Yeah, that would be good. Well, some of the maps are still in further development, like, you know, I believe West Countries is getting updated soon. But yeah, no, I agree. If only we could have a 2 GB RAM for maps. If only. That'd be good. Right, let's get this bus out. So in case you don't know, Spirit Buses was actually a real bus company. It was based in Northumberland. It was a good little company. It started in 2000, end of 2015-16, and it shut down. No, sorry, it started in 2014, and it shut down in 2016, beginning 2017, due to the funding on the routes that it created had been slashed by the government, so they couldn't afford to keep going. But it was a good little company. Steve Verst, a good friend of mine, started it up, and the routes he created on Spirit Buses, connecting to Alnwick, there was to the little village. There was no bus services at all there, being empty and neglected for years. The only bus they had was Arriva's X14 to Newcastle, and that was it. and only that only ran every hour. So he created a lovely little network around the village with a PVR of 2. Service 15, 16, 17, 18, which all interworked. And it finally brought public transport to the little village that had been neglected for years. But then unfortunately the funding got stopped, so the 17, 18 service got withdrawn. It was just the service 15, 16. He ran it with 2 Dennis darts. And yeah, it was pretty cool. He did a good job of it. And I mean, every year he would, when there was Remembrance Day, he covered the buses in poppies, children in need. He had the polka dots all over them. Got proper involved, and he also helped with like people if they need stuff delivering. He'd do it during the bus service. You know, he'd deliver parcels and that for people as long as it's on the route. It was a good little plus of ours, and he was the first company in the northeast to do the bike loader thing, where you can load your bike on the bus. He brought that into the Dennis darts. But then the service, let's say the fund got slashed, so the 17, 18 got stopped, and it was just the 15, the 16. But the Dennis darts he had were getting quite old. They were 2002 regs, and he was struggling to keep them going, so he got rid of one of them, and he got an Enviro 200 from Dawson Rentals, and kept the other one as a spare. But then the company finally went bust because it just wasn't getting the money in, because everyone was getting on with bus passes rather than paying fares, which when they go on with bus pass, the company's only get given 30% of the value for it, if that. So of course shut down. The route still runs. PCL Travel Rural Link took over it, and they nearly killed the route because they don't know how to run a bus company. The route's now taken over by Phoenix Coaches, but it's been cut down from being a daily service to being 4 journeys a day, if that. Phoenix Coaches extended goes to Newcastle all the way up to Rotherham to Alnwick, then that's it. Comes back, then that's it, and goes on the 808 service, then comes back, does that route again, and then that's it. So it only does 4 journeys a day, compared to being how it used to be, which was a 30-minute service. Well, I say 30 to 20 minutes, give or take. So it's good to see the route's still going. It's just a shame the company's no longer there doing it. Yeah, is anyone going on? Going, and I'm gone. It was a good company while it lasted. It was just a shame to see it go so soon. Well, it could have been worse. It could have started the company up at the beginning of COVID, so you know, it could have been worse. At least, yeah, okay, it started during the recession time, and Theresa May was slashing all the food into everything, but like, at least he didn't do it during the COVID times, where he would have made sure he shut down the same year he started. But you never know, he might come back. Never say never, that's why I always say, because companies have been known to make a comeback. I mean, look at Ian Shipley. He used to own the company Classic Coaches in Newcastle, and he joined up the TGM group, which was owned by Arriva, and Arriva took over Classic Coaches and did the exact same thing that they did with Yorkshire Tiger. Ran it into the ground and killed the company. Didn't put any funding into it, just let it rot and left it with vehicles. They had a fleet of a load of DAF ALX full of old stuff and some 07 which were alright, but they were never maintained because Arriva wouldn't put the money in. And then 2015, 14, 15, Arriva decided to pull the plug on the company, and Ian and his son bought GH Coaches, and they tried to buy the rights back off Arriva to keep all the Classic name, but they couldn't do it. But Ian still today, even though Arriva took his company off him and shut it down, he came back with all new company, GH Coaches, massive fleet of gold Dennis Tridents, and does 90% of all the school contracts in town and Weir. So like, you know, never say never. It's not the same company, but it's ran the same. It was ran how it was before Reaver took over by the same owners. So like, you know, anything's possible. Old companies that have gone can always bounce back under either new leadership or old leadership under different licensings and name and whatnot. So you never say never. Mind you saying about Reaver though, I can't imagine Reaver's got long left the way it's going. I mean, North East, Reaver's absolutely diabolical. Shortage on buses and drivers, and yet even though we're short on buses and they won't put the funding to buy any more, they're withdrawing buses left and centre. Instead of replacing them, Reaver's answer is to deal with the bus shortages. We'll cut back on services instead. Genius that. It's a shame because Reaver used to be a really good company, but now it's going downhill fast and it's not as big as it used to be. As soon as someone buys out the Reaver, the better. It's been up for sale for nearly 10, 11 years now. As soon as it gets bought out, the better. I can't see anybody doing a worse job than what Reaver's doing at the moment. See where I'm at, we have big companies, we don't have many. We have Stagecoach, Go North East, and Reaver. That's it for the big companies. We have a handful of independent companies like Gated Central Taxis, well, Gated Central Buses / Taxis, Weardale Travel, we have Scarlet Band, Hudderston Coaches, and what else do we have? Independent companies, Stanley Travel, GH Coaches, Airline Coaches. So we have a handful of independent companies doing a handful of routes. But as for like big, massive companies at the level of like Transdev and that, we only have a Reaver, Go North East and Stagecoach. That's it. The closest we can get to having a different big company near us is Transdev in New York. Or Border Buses up at West Coast Motors in Berwick. There you go, sir. Right. Whoops, I was looking at my phone, I had a text. Gotta stop doing that. Yeah, that noise, I think the extractor fan's on the engine. Yep. Typical street light. Buses ain't made like they used to be. Buses used to be built to last. Now they don't even last 10 years. It'd be nice if we get these with like a pulsar engine. These would be cool. Or a street light but with a Volvo engine inside them. That would be cool to have. Volvo B8 street light. Or an ADL street light. I can see why not. I mean, we used to be able to get, what was it, the Volvo B9 and Varo 400s. So like, it'd be cool to have like an ADL street light or a Volvo V8 street light. It'd be cool to have. Oh dear. I'll read that text message later. I'm in a debate with my friend over a Reaver North East withdrawn one of the solos. 2819, he thinks it's going to be off, it's going to get scrapped, and it isn't, because it's an 08 reg solo. Reaver North East will not scrap with solos. It's on a long-term vehicle off-road, but it's not scrapped. Reaver can't scrap it, they're short on minibuses as it is. They've already got rid of all the MPDs. Get rid of the solos, they'll have nothing left in the fleet. I know Darton Depot's just got the Scania Omni cities that were at Yorkshire Tiger to replace the two that have just been withdrawn from Darton Depot, which they get put on the X66 to Middlesbrough and the X26-27 to Richmond. They were in Max nearly, but Arriva's getting rid of all the Max and Sapphire and the frequent brandings now, because I'm going to buses to be branded unlike other companies. There you go. You have to. There you go, pal. Thank you very much. I'd hate for going off east to buy up some of Arriva. Well, I would and I wouldn't, because like from what I've heard, going off east is not a good company to drive for. It may look good, but it's not good apparently. And they're taking the Transdev approach. They're taking all the vehicles and painting them up to make them look good for service, rather than replacing them. At least that's some people have been telling me anyway. So I know they keep taking all the East Yorkshire stuff that are supposed to be getting withdrawn or scrapped and putting them into service in the North East. This sounds about right for the North East actually. Let's have a look, 2 minutes early. I'll fast forward time a little bit. There we go. Right, let's go. This is the extended 35. We'll go around this housing estate here. Then when we come out to the turn right to go back to Scunthorpe, make a left. I like routes like this because it's very realistic to real routes. You know, go around housing estates like this. Especially where I grew up. 90% of the routes are where I grew up. Went round housing estates like this. Local services. Just what I enjoy. I enjoy local services because then you get to meet the regulars and local faces, and you know, you get to connect with the community and you know, things like that. Being a local driver has more benefits than being a non-local driver. I mean, yeah, you can get bored doing the same route over and over and over, going around circles, but it still has more benefits being a local driver than being a non-local driver. I mean, yeah, doing the out-of-town services means, you know, you're probably doing less sort of driving, but not like if you're doing a service that takes an hour each way. Yeah, it means your day's shorter, fair enough, and you get bigger vehicles to drive, and you probably get paid more. But doing the local ones just has more Has more to it, I think, because you meet the local community, you know, you get involved more locally, you get to meet new people, and you get to know more people, and then you get benefits like Christmas times. You get the odd ones that'll drop like odd Christmas card, or give the driver the odd presents, and you know, or you get ones that'll drop you in a coffee or a chocolate bar, you know, little things like that. And you sometimes I think doing the local ones is stressful than doing the out of town services, because I mean, if you're doing a service that's a long distance service, I suppose that takes an hour to do. If you break down out of town, it's going to be ages before anyone gets to you. Well, at least if you're on the local stuff, at least you know you're not going to be there very long. You're going to be able to get replaced in no time, providing the spare vehicles, obviously. I don't know, I just find the local services a lot more relaxing to do than long distance services. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you do local ones, they do cram a hell of a lot into your shift. They do cram a hell of a lot in, but still more relaxing, I find. Driving down this bit here reminds me of being in Selby in Yorkshire, because the route area is similar to that. Drives around some of the things like that. It's quite nice. That's a company that's lost a lot of value, but Selby depots have a town network service 6, 7 and 5, and 6 and 7 has been withdrawn and replaced by the big out of town services instead, and then now they're using the solos on the service to Leeds. Never understand why they do that, but there you go. One important thing to do if you're going to use BCS, or make sure you have your 4G patch installed. If you don't have the 4G patch installed, you will find you'll get a lot of problems, like things will disappear, including the ground. Whenever you install Omsi, make sure you always have your 4G patch on after you've installed it. Otherwise you could be driving along and everything will just disappear. Oh, what's that other message? I've turned my settings right down. Normally I have the settings quite up, but I've turned down at the moment. Just see how things look, to compare things, see how it runs differently between the low settings and the high settings, see which one runs smoother. But I think with the high settings, you don't get much difference, except from like on the higher settings when you go to Scunthorpe bus station, you see the fencing around the bus station, whereas on the low settings you don't see the fencing. There's not really much difference between the low and the high, except from a few minor little things like the fencing and, you know, benches. That's probably the only thing that's different that I've noticed so far. This is a Euro 5 coming street, like the Euro 6 is the urban engine, and I've noticed the Euro 6 are a lot slower than the Euro 5 street lights. Don't know why they've done that, but a lot slower. But I prefer the Cummins engine, because the Daimler, it made me laugh because someone said to me, oh, they'd love to have a Mercedes engine street light. They'd never been on one before, they'd be pretty cool to have. And I had to point out to them, like, but you've been on one, because there is a Mercedes engine street light, because it's a Daimler engine. A Daimler engine is a Mercedes engine, the same engine you get in the Solos and the Tempos. It's just got Daimler written on it. There's no difference. It's like, so you say you would love to have a Mercedes street light, but you've got one. It's called a Daimler engine. And you didn't realise that the DMA was a Mercedes. But I prefer the Cummins over the DMA because the Cummins have more power. Yeah, they're more expensive to run, but they have more power in them than the Mercedes. Gainsborough Part 3 is supposed to be getting released soon, and the Service 100 has been extended on that map, which is something fun to do. I'm forward to when he finally extends Gainsborough and Scunthorpe together, because in real life 100 goes from Gainsborough to Scunthorpe. So when he finally does that, that'll be something excellent to have. There we go, end of the route. This video will be left on Twitch for another week or so. But also next week it'll be up on YouTube as well, in case you want to watch it again. YouTube channel's Bossman Moss TV, same as my Twitch name. You'll find a lot of Omsi and ETS videos on there. A mixture of different videos. So next week this will be up on YouTube for everyone to watch, for those who haven't watched it today. Thank you for coming along and watching the stream with me. I appreciate it very much, and I will be live again next week. I might even be live again at the weekend. I'm not sure yet, but if not, it'll be next week on Tuesday. I'll be live. So thanks very much for coming along and watching the video, watching the stream. I absolutely appreciate it, and I'll see you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all next time. I'll take care, and bye for now. And don't forget to pop up my YouTube channel, Bossman Moss TV. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later.